rise of political ideology, but a rise of a defense mechanism coming from the very fabric of our culture that sees that something is extremely wrong and very, well, cancerous to society as a whole. And we, the social immune system, need to work to recognize the true root problem and then move to remove it as fast as possible before it takes hold and essentially, well, works for our own termination. And as the cancer has grown since the inception of the system that I'm going to speak of, it's become more malignant, more caustic, and obviously across the world, absent of any country or nation or political party, is beginning to see its caustic effects. However, just as the cancer in our bodies produce different symptoms that harm certain areas first, such as our lungs or our kidneys, we need to ask the question, where is the real sickness line? I heard someone yell out capitalism a moment ago. But is that really the psychology that's underlying the problem that we see? Or is it simply a manifestation of something even more flawed at the foundational level?
Is it the one that says,
are we actually seeing this cancer for what it is?
Occupy a green
Are we working to correct it at the root source, or are we just addressing its symptoms? This is the question I would like to pose not only to Occupy LA, but to the entire movement related, and all those that are worried about the state of affairs on this planet. How do we diagnose the real issue? How should we feel about the 1% which own 40% of the planet's wealth? How should we feel about the 400 Americans that have more wealth than 150 million Americans combined? How should we feel about the top hedge fund managers that take home over $300 million a year? And for what? Do these hedge fund managers actually create anything? Last I checked, the measure of our market system, which justifies its competitive nature, is that those who contribute the most to society are supposed to be the ones that are most rewarded. Obviously, the exact opposite is true. As a quick aside, I will state that if there's anything that could represent the tumor of the system that we inhabit, it would be Wall Street, the stock exchanges, and the banking establishment as a whole. But again, the tumors are not actually the source of this disease. They are symptoms. Symptoms, just as the rampant foreclosures forcing people out of their homes, are symptoms. Symptoms like the ongoing economic decline and loss of so-called growth are symptoms. Symptoms like the ongoing debt crisis that has yet to fully hit America, by the way, but has already taken its toll on the EU, Greece, Italy, Portugal, and many others. And obviously no resolution has been found. Why? Because they're trying to resolve the problems that have been generated within this system by using mechanisms of this system. You notice our governments continue to bail out banks across the world, yet they impose austerity on us. Is that a result of something negative? Are these people just evil? Are they just trying to do the worst they can to insult the humanity of us?
Yes!
Are they just corrupt, greedy criminals, anomalies? Are they aliens from another planet that have come down to fuck with us? Well, they're people, exactly. And they're likely manifestations of this cancer rather than a cause of it. And as the world awakens to this financial system and its flaws, I've noticed a very radical perspective slowly being realized, which transcends the economic tradition many of us assume to be natural to our way of life. You'll notice that we tend to assume that the systems we're born into, the traditional systems, are automatically assumed to be empirical. Have you ever noticed that? We might look at politics and government as we know it as a whole and assume that it's valid. Why? Because that's all we've ever known. Is it any true measure of logic? Probably not. It's simply tradition. It's custom. And you'll find that we seem to be locked into custom frames of reference than emergent frames of reference. And that is fundamentally what needs to change in our view of reality.